right? So can you guys help me remember what did you do last class? Like, not in terms of commands, but in terms of concept. What did we do? What happened last class? Yes.
We import the points and we define the boundary and the contour and point groups.
And point groups, and we created what?
The surface.
A surface. So that was the whole idea of last week's class, to create a surface. A surface of what? Created a surface of what?
EG.
EG. What is EG?
Existing ground.
The existing ground. So this is the site where we want to design our highway. But to design a highway, we need to know how the terrain looks like before we do any work. And that's what we did last class. Okay? Now, this is Module 1, and we're not going to do anything completely new in Module 1, but there's a few other things that we can do with Civil 3D that I want to show you today, which is continued from page 12. Okay? So, I didn't save my work last week, but Carl, he borrowed me, or he lent me his, wait. I have his file over here that I'm going to be using, if I can open it. Wow. Yeah, so there's a few things here that I need to change. I'll just say, just one second, guys. So I have all the layers on here. Let me see if there's anything. So I asked you guys to freeze the layer V node. And guys, please, if you freeze the layer V node, you don't see the points. If you freeze V node text, you don't see the text. And if you freeze OG north, OG north and south, you don't see the contours. Pay attention to these contours here though. What are these numbers over here? The elevation of the contours, right? Now when I look into the surface, and why am I not seeing the surface here? If Carl already created the surface, and I have the contours, I have the edits, and I have the point groups. What is Carl missing here on the surface? The boundary, okay? So the boundary needs to be added as a boundary over here later. But why am I not seeing the surface if I have already all these objects over here?
Surface style.
The style of the surface. So if I go to surface properties, I can change the style to contour 0.5 and 2.5, and I'll be able to see the contours over here. Okay? Now, when I had the other contours here, the red ones that were based on 3D lines, remember? I could see the elevation of it. Now, if I want to see the elevation, I can leave my cursor and I can see elevation 222.066. Do you see on the bottom there? If I leave my cursor here, I have 227.173. So is the terrain increasing or decreasing from here to here in terms of elevation? Here I have 221. Here I have 227. Increasing, right? So I have 6 meters here difference. But I have to display that into here. Now, how would you do this in regular AutoCAD? You would do text. Now imagine doing text for all of these things over here. It would take ages, right? So for Civil 3D, we have a thing called labels. So let me open the instructions over here, and we'll take it from there. And this is after page 12, if I'm not mistaken. So the first thing that I want to show you is that you can edit how these labels are going to be displayed, okay? We're going to edit to be displayed in one way, but later on, if you are working in a company and they want it to be displayed in a different way, you can do it as well. So let me go to page 12 over here of our, and we finished this, and we should save it with base 2. Now what I want to do is I want to change the label styles, and to change the label styles, I should go to settings. So we usually use prospector here, but I'm going to change this to settings, and I'm going to go settings of my surface, label styles, and there is a mistake here. It says then surface styles tree, then contour tree. It actually should be label style, okay? Because I'm changing the style of the label. And under contours, I'm gonna have major and minor. What I wanna do is change the text height to 2 and change the precision. Because if I do a label right now, it's gonna show with a different precision. So if I go edits in here, and I go to layout, I can see here the text height. How much do I want the text height to be? 2, right? Let me turn on my thing here. So this should be 2. I should change this to 2, so I'll see 2 here. Now the precision, to change the precision, I want only 1 decimal place, not 2 as here. So if I click on these 3 icons, do you see here that I say surface elevation, and I see precision 1, 2, 3 decimal places? How many do I want? 1. So let me do it again. I'll go to contents of the text. I go to these 3 little dots over here, and I change into surface elevation. I can see that the precision is 3 decimal places. I want to change this to 1. Okay? Now, do you see this text over here? This is what actually refers to this part over here. So I actually need to click on here, change to 0, 1, and then I need to click on this arrow. Do you see here P2? If I click on the arrow, it will change to what? P1. That's the precision 1. Do you guys understand how to do this? A lot of people come here, they change it to 1 and they hit OK, but they don't click on this arrow, so the new text will not come here. This is like coding. Remember GIS, that you had to do the query, that you had to put the kind of code? This is the same thing. So you're going to change to 1, and you're going to hit in there. You're going to hit OK. So you see here now that it's only 1 decimal place on the we're going to hit apply, and we're going to hit OK. And I think it asks to change the same thing for minor labels. So I did this for major. I'm going to repeat again the same thing, 2 millimeters here. I'm going to say 3 little dots over here. I'm going to go surface elevation. I'm going to click here. I'm going to add it to 1. I'm going to click on the arrow and change it to P1 over here. OK, apply, OK. So I've done the settings. Why I don't see the labels here? Why I don't see labels?
Because you haven't activated.
Because I didn't add any labels. What I did, I changed the configuration of the labels, okay? I changed how the labels are gonna look like when I place them. It's like text styles, or it's like layers for labels, okay? Then we have to go into, to do the labels itself, we have to go under annotate in here. And then we're gonna say add label, surface, and we wanna add contour labels, multiple, okay? Check this out. If I go here and I click here, I'm going to start doing this. I click on this line. Anywhere where this line crosses, I'm going to have numbers. Do you see? It automatically comes the contour for us. Now, where do you place them? Just whatever. Just place them in a good... don't do like I did. Let me delete this. Maybe for doing this, it's better if you turn off your OSNAP. How do you turn off your OSNAP quickly? F3. Just F3. It might be Fn F3 if you're using a laptop, but here just F3. It turns off. Then you're gonna go here, 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 here. Maybe I don't want to cross again there, so I'll go here, here. Now look where the problem begins. I did this line over here. Now when I get here, and I do a line here, do you see how bad it is? My suggestion is that you do one line until here, you do one line specifically for here, then you continue with another line here, okay? Leave it like this. Then you continue with another line here, 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 here. Just go around, but when it gets very steep like this, make one line specifically for that, because I'm gonna show you something. Then I'm gonna go here, here. Then when I get here, I'm gonna do another one just for this. It looks very bad, but you leave like that for now. And then you go here, and that's it. Now the first thing that, yes?
Hey, when I'm placing the labels, I realized they're coming out like twice in a row. Meaning 220.0 and then 220.00.
I have no idea. We'd have to go and see. Can you wait a little bit, and I'll go there after? But yeah, I have no idea what's happening there. The first problem that I have here on my one is these lines over here. I don't want these lines to show. Okay, so these lines over here, I don't want it to show. I just want to show the number. Look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna select one of this, right click, select similar. It selected all the labels for me. Okay? I'm gonna go into properties by typing MO enter. And do you see here display contour line? Contour label line, it's true. I'm gonna make it false. So these lines over here will disappear and I only see the number. Do you see this? Yeah, easy. Now what happens here, this is terrible. How do I fix this? Does anyone have an idea? Now what I saw a lot of people doing is they did label single, okay? And they would click here, and they would click here, and they would click here, and they just did on single lines. That can be done too, but I think it's extra work. I don't like this way. Does anyone have an idea?
So we need to display each contour.
We don't necessarily.
No, so
Yeah.
each-
So that's what you do. See, you select this one and this one, which are very steep, and then you say here, display major contours, true. Display minor contours, you can say false for this one. So on this slope over here, it's only going to show the major contours. Do you see this? This is not on the instructions, by the way, guys. This is just my way of doing it. Display only major contours, okay? In this situation over here, because it's not so steep, you can actually do it in a way like this, that you can actually show all of them if you wish, okay? If they don't touch each other, then it's fine and you can do it that way. Do you have any questions on how we did these labels over here? Is it simple? Yes, my friend, you there.
I just want to make sure you went under settings, contour, existing minor labels, and then you right click.
Yeah, so for these ones over here, I turn off the minor contours on
How do you make
properties.
this switch again?
MO enter, properties.
MO.
Yeah, you can go MO, you can go PR, or you can go CH. They all will open this window. I prefer MO because they're closer on keyboard, and then I type it faster. Like it saves time, but it's up to you to type whatever you want. You can even right click and say properties if that's better for you. MO enter, yes.
What was the mistake that you said it was on the first one again? I mean, on the slide?
Oh, when we're changing the settings of the label, it says go to settings, surface, and surface style, but it actually should be settings, surface, and label styles. Now the picture is correct, it's just the written instruction that is wrong. And it has been wrong for the past 5 semesters, but it didn't change.
And then
It's just to see if you pay attention in class.
the other one was MO, right? You said?
MO, it opens properties. It's not only for Civil 3D, but for regular AutoCAD. If you're my student in regular CAD, I think I taught you that.
So you said open MO is a shortcut, there's a property. and
MO, yeah.
only show.
Check it out. If you go MO, it shows property and it opens this. If you type PR, it's also properties. And if you type CH, it's also properties. So any of these commands will open this. Or you can either right click and say properties. It'll also open that. So I have, I showed you 4 or 5 different ways. I personally use MO, but just because of the hand on the keyboard. But
And then it was changing the minor, right?
yeah, I removed minor, so it doesn't get very messy here, right?
Can you show it one more time?
What I did here?
Yes.
Yeah, I went to properties, and when it says display minor contours, I change it to false. Now this is not on the instructions, okay? This is my way of doing it. You don't have to like it.
Could you show again how to take off the
The line?
lines on the contour?
Same thing, go to properties, but the first one, display contour line, contour label line, you change it to false.
The top one.
Yeah, so if you change that one to false, the line will disappear.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, no problem. So, guys, do you see the benefits of Civil 3D and not having to label one by one manually? How much time do we have? We have 10 minutes. Okay, we're good. So, can I move on?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so we're good here. We changed it, we created the contours. All of this I done, and it's asking us to make the layer. Okay, so it's asking me to save this as base 3. And again, guys, when you're doing on your own, make sure that you follow the layers and this stuff. I'm not doing that. I'm just showing you the functionalities of the simplicity, okay? So I'm gonna save this as base 3. And it's important to save with the different bases because later I'm gonna say open this base and it's not the base that you're working. But anyways, so I'll save it as base 3. And now what's asking me to do is to change the style of how the surface look like. So for me to change the style, I need to actually go to Prospector, okay? And I need to go to the properties of the surface over here. Now what's asking me to do is to change the surface to, let me see where I am. Surface you have created as seen. Okay, so this one over here, we're gonna change it to contours and triangles. Okay, so I'm gonna change to contours and triangles, this one over here, and once I hit OK and apply, this is how I'm gonna see. I'm not seeing just the contours anymore, I'm seeing the triangles. Do you guys remember that I explained to you about this triangle last week? What is the guy's name? What?
Pascal's triangle.
To be honest, I don't know either how to say it, but it's Dylan Y, Dylan Way, something like that. Okay? You don't have to know, so don't worry. This is if you're paying attention. So it's asking me to save this now as base 4. You see? It just asked me to change the style of it and save it as base 4. Cool? So this show the triangles of that. Now it asks me to open base 3 again. So I'm gonna go here, open base 3 again, which is the one that we're just working right now, this one over here. And it's asking me to go into settings of the surface over here, surface settings, surface styles, and it's asking me to make a copy of contours and triangles. So remember that before we did a copy of contours 1 and 5 and we created 0, 5, and 2 and 5? Now we're doing the same thing, however we're doing with contours and triangles. So I'm going to go copy here, and it's asking me to name it as team bending, okay? So T-I-N bending in here, and I'm gonna change few information of this so I can actually see my surface in a different way, okay? It's asking me to remove this too. So I'm gonna go here, under information tab. Do you have a question? No? Under in the information, we're gonna change it to the way we were displaying this. So we're gonna go triangles in here, and we're gonna exaggerate the elevation in 10 times. Now remember when I showed you this surface in 3D last week, it looked very flat. I couldn't actually see the difference. So what I'm doing here, I'm telling the software to exaggerate the vertical difference by 10 times, okay? So I'm gonna be able to see it better. This will not influence the elevations of the surface, it's just how I see the surface within the software. So I can see the terrain itself. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you will understand about it soon, don't worry. So I'm gonna go, I changed it to 10 there, I'm gonna go to analysis over here, and under elevation, I'm gonna change it as well to, under expanded elevation, change the range color scheme to rainbow. So in here, instead of blue, I'm gonna select rainbow. Change the number of ranges to 5. This number over here, I'm gonna change it to 5. And change display type to 3D faces. Display type, I'm gonna change it to 3D faces, okay? Change elevations display mode to exaggerate elevation. So here I'm gonna exaggerate it well, and I'm also gonna exaggerate it by 10. So what I'm doing here is I'm changing the way I'm gonna see my surface. I wanna see as a rainbow color. You will understand about it soon, don't worry. So I changed that, and now I'm gonna go to display in here, and turn off all of the layers except elevations. Okay, so I'm going to turn everything off in here except elevations. Okay, and I'm going to say apply, and I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to save again as base 3 that I have there. Now I'm going to go back to my prospector and this surface, and I'm going to change it to the seam bending that I just created. Okay? Do you see how it looks like? What do you think the color, the coding represents? Elevations, right? check this out. If I look this in 3D, now I go here. Do you see that I can see better the elevation of the surface? Why is this? Because I exaggerated 10 times. Okay? So now we have a better idea with what terrain we are dealing to build our highway. Okay? So you are probably learning with Center right now about horizontal alignment, and you are learning where to go and did you guys get there yet? Circular curve? You guys see circular curve already? Okay, so we are gonna deal with all of that software in here. So we have to determine where our road is gonna be and how we're gonna do all the calculation after that. But this is the first step of mapping the terrain in 3D of how it's gonna look like. Okay? So let's keep following the instructions over here. We've created that. Now it's asking me to change a little bit of the analysis. So I'm gonna go back to perspective, surface properties here. I'm gonna go to analysis over here, and I'm gonna change this to number of analysis 5. Elevations, everything is good. So I'm gonna run analysis, which is this button over here. And now I have each elevation and the colors in here. I think it asks me to change, double click on the yellow band and change the color to orange. So I'm colorblind, but I believe the yellow is this one over here, if I'm not mistaken. Then I'm gonna change this to 30, okay? 30 is color orange. And I'm gonna say, okay. I can either preview here how it's gonna look like, the elevation table. Okay, and I can say apply, I can say okay, and it changes the color here to orange, okay? So this is just a matter, it's not very important, it's just trying to show you that you can change how you display your surface, even though your surface is the same across the entire drawing, okay? You're just changing the way you display it, and you can keep updating that as long as you want. So this one over here, you should save it as base 5. Okay, so we're gonna save this as base 5 with this triangle. And then it asks you to show it in SW isometric, which will be this one over here. And you save this as well. And that's pretty much the completion of the main portion of module 1. Now there are other types of labels that you can do on your surface, and this is where it shows you. You can actually add labels like this on the intersection that you have to do it. I will not do it with you, I'll let you do it on your own if you follow the instructions over here. But it's the same process that you did with labeling the contours, you're just using different labels. As well as you can label, let me see if I have an example here, you can label this, the slope percentage, okay? So you don't have to calculate any of this. You just use labels and AutoCAD will do all the calcs for you. So if you just follow this, you will be able to get that. And this is pretty much the end of module 1. And then the last portion is, I believe I did with you last week when I drew a line over here and I asked you to do the profile. Did I do that or no? Yes, when I did the profile and I changed it, it changed it automatically. Yeah, so that's just a quick profile that every time that you close, this will go away because it's a quick profile only, just for you to see. So you don't really have to do page 24, okay? It's just for you to understand that you can look at profile, but you don't have to. What do you have to submit to me once you finish this?
The bases?
No, you don't submit anything. I don't want anything of this. We're going to start next week, start with module 2. I'll talk to Santi to see where he's at, so I see how much further I can go. We start module 2, but module 2 will depend on base 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 that is saved here, so you cannot start module 2 if you don't have this ready. Once we complete module 2, it's probably going to be 2 weeks from now, I'm going to give you an assignment that is based on these 2 modules. So you have some work to do, and then you're going to submit just that assignment, that it's based on this. Does that make sense? Now, you need to have this perfectly correct, so you can get the 10% out of at the end of the semester, and I'm here to help you do that. So I'm going to be helping you. If you have any problems, just let me know, and I'll spend time with you. I also posted my office hours under faculty information. Now I realized one student couldn't come in any of these hours because you guys have class, some of you have class. So if you cannot come on these hours, you have to send me an email and then we will schedule a separate time, okay? Or I might change this depending if no one can go in there. Do we have any questions? Yes.
Professor, what's the difference between the prospector tab and the settings tab?
Prospector is just how you were displaying things.
Okay.
Settings tab is how you configure things that you're going to display based on prospector.
But we can also-
So this is the main tab that you're going to be using here. But here, it's kind of, do you guys remember DWT and DWG where you have a template? Settings here is how you set your settings for your entire drawing. So you can change styles of points, you can change style of surface. Now, can you change from prospector? Yeah, you can too. You can come here and you can create copies of this, or you can edit this one over here. However, here you have a tree of everything that you have. You can actually see one by one. It's a more detailed version for the settings, okay? So these are the two ones that we're going to be using most. Prospector is the one that we are using most of the time, which is the one that we are using here. A few things that you have to remember. How do you know if my surface is right or wrong? Well, it shouldn't include the entire thing. If it doesn't, you are missing something. How do I know what I added into that surface? I see this small circle over here. I know that I have contours, I have some edits. We didn't talk about it yet, but we will later. And points groups that I added here. Carl, you're missing about this. Okay? So he can do it at the end, it doesn't matter, it will automatically update everything. Sounds good? Now, if you leave it to do it at the end, and you save it base 3, base 4, base 5, you have to do for each of them, or copy them. Do we have any questions? Did I complete the entire module with you? No. We are missing those two other labels that you have to do it, okay? So, you need to do it on your own. It's very easy, it's just simple, but if you have questions, I'm here to help you. This class goes until what time? We have 10 more minutes, so you guys can keep working and I'll be around half an hour, okay? It's a bit more chill than last week.